Hello everyone. Today we will discuss about the law of demand. In the last video we have discussed about the theory of demand, in which we have discussed what is demand, what are the different types of demand, and what are the factors that affect demand. So in this video we will discuss the law of demand. So what is the agenda for this video? The agenda for this video is the meaning of the law of demand, what are the assumptions related to it, then the explanation of the law of demand, and exceptions. Exceptions means where the law of demand is not applicable, and last, the reasons for the applicability of the law of demand. Reasons means why the law of demand states that things. Now we will discuss now what is law of demand. So firstly, the meaning of law of demand. So this is a fundamental principle of economics that states that at a higher price, consumer will demand a lower quantity of a good. It means as the price of the commodity rises, we will consume or we will demand less of that commodity. As you see in the previous time periods, as the prices of the tomatoes increases, mostly all of the people started purchasing less of the tomatoes as the prices of the tomatoes are increasing to a greater extent. But now, as the prices of the tomatoes are declining, so everyone will start demanding more of it. So, this is the law of demand given by Alfred Marshall, that as the price of the commodity rises, the demand for that commodity declines, but taking other factors to be constant, that is ceteris paribus. Ceteris paribus is a Latin word taken by Alfred Marshall to define other things remaining constant. So, in the determinants or factors that affect demand, we have taken so many factors that are affecting demand. But in this law, only price is the main factor that is defining or that is affecting the demand. So that's why Alfred Marshall has taken other things to be constant. So there is a negative relationship between the price and demand. From the negative relationship, we can see that as the prices of the commodity declines, the demand for that commodity starts increasing, and vice versa. Now we will discuss about the assumptions of the law of demand. Assumptions are the things that are to be taken constant by Alfred Marshall. So firstly, there is first assumption is the income of the consumer remains the same. Second is the taste and preferences of the consumer remains the same. The taste and preferences are different for different consumers, as sometimes I like something, but the same thing is not liked by you. So there are different tastes. So under this, the taste and preferences of the consumer remains the same according to the law. The other one is the price of the related goods. Related goods are of two types: substitutes and complementaries. So the price of the substitutes and complementaries does not change with the applicability of the law. To apply these laws, the prices of substitutes and complementary doesn't change. So these are the three. And the fourth one is that we doesn't expect in the future any change in the price of the commodity. That future expectations are constant for the prices of the commodity about which we are considering. Next one is the explanation. We can explain the law of demand with the help of a table and a diagram. Under demand, table is known as the demand schedule, and figure or diagram is taken to be a curve. So under the demand schedule, we take prices per unit. As we see, prices per unit are declining from 10 to 8, 8 to 6, 6 to 4, and 4 to 2. But with these fall in the prices of the commodity, the quantity demanded in units of that commodity is rising from 50 to 60, 60 to 70, 70 to 80, 80 to 90. So this defines that with the fall in the price of the commodity, the demand for that good is rising. It can be explained with the help of the figure also. So if we take 10 here as the point, and under 10 there is a 50 quantity. So we plot these points on this graph at this point. So there are different points, and joining these points with each other, then there is a straight line curve which shows that the demand curve is downward sloping straight line curve, because with the fall in the price, the demand for the commodity is increasing. This shows the negative relationship between the price and the demand. So DD is the required demand curve. This is a downward sloping demand curve. Now we will discuss about the exceptions of the law. Exceptions are those things in which the law of demand is not applicable. So there are mainly five exceptions of the law. First is the Giffen goods. Giffen goods is named after the economist Robert Giffen. So Giffen goods are mainly concerned with the proportion of income we are spending upon it. As the our income decreases, we prefer to purchase Giffen goods more. So the main relationship between the Giffen goods is through income, not through prices. So law of demand doesn't apply here. Similarly, articles of distinction, second, is these are known as Veblen goods. It is named after the economist Veblen, because these goods are those goods which are mainly used for show off. We can take example of jewelry, or we can take example of iPhones. As the prices of the iPhones increases, we will consider that with the increase in the prices of the iPhones, we purchase more of it to show off these commodities. So these are not related to the law of demand, as there becomes the positive relationship between the prices and demand. Next one is the consumer's ignorance, as the consumer doesn't know anything about the prevalence of the market situation. So because of these conditions, with the change in the price, the consumer doesn't know what is to be expected by the demand. So these ignorant things may change the law of demand. Next is the situation of crisis. As we all know that during COVID-19 period and during flood times, the situations were very worse, and during these situations, if the prices are high, then also we are demanding high things, and if the prices are low, we are demanding less of it. So to tackle the crisis, there becomes a positive relationship between the demand and prices. Next is the future expectations. If for this we take an example, let's say if we expect that the prices of the commodity in future will rise, so we will demand the commodity right now and increase the demand for that commodity, uh, not considering whether the current price is greater or less. We are expecting its future price. So on the basis of the future price, we are demanding the goods for current at excess. So these are the main exceptions of the law of demand. Next one is the reasons for the applicability of the law. There are mainly five reasons for the applicability. First is the income effect. Second, substitution effect. Third, several uses of the product. Fourth, large number of consumers. And fifth one is the utility maximizing behavior. But out of these five applicabilities, mainly three are considered to be important. That is income effect, substitution effect, and diminishing marginal utility or utility maximizing behavior. Under income effect, we can say that as the product becomes expensive with the rise in the price, the price rises, the commodity becomes less. We have the limited income to spend upon it, so money will buy less for that commodity. That's why the demand for that commodity falls. Next one is the substitution effect. Under substitution effect, when the prices of the apples rises, we will substitute the pears in place of it, which are relatively cheaper. So we will buy pears in place of apples. So the demand for apples will fall. Similarly, under diminishing marginal utility is the additional utility that we get with the consumption of the extra unit of a commodity. So as under this, the marginal utility should be equal to the price of the commodity. So under the conditions when there is no equality between the price and marginal utility of the commodity, the consumer will not buy that commodity. That's why there is applicability of the law of demand under these three conditions. Now, what is the summary about it? You all can see that with the when the prices go up, the demand for that commodity declines, and when the prices goes down, the demand for that commodity rises. So there is an inverse relationship between quantity demanded and prices. So but there are still some exceptions that are not applicable according to the law. So thank you. This is the law of demand. Hope you like it. So please like and share to others also. Thank you so much.